Lia Tortilla presents.
Hey guys, it's me, Lia Tortilla. Today I'll be showing you how to make garlic and herb flatbreads. This recipe is so simple and easy. You'll be sat at home wondering why you've never tried it before. This is kind of a messy one, so I advise you go and put an apron on. Aprons on? Let's get started, shall we? First of all, you need a saucepan and 500 millilitres of milk. Now, it doesn't matter if you want to use full fat milk, semi-skimmed milk, or fully skimmed milk. You just need 500 millilitres of milk. And to your milk, you're going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. 1, 2. And once you've done that, we're going to place our milk and olive oil on the hob and bring it slowly to the boil. Now you can see it's starting to boil, and you want to take it off the heat before it overboils and ruins your hob, like so. And let that cool down for about 5 minutes. While you're waiting for your milk and olive oil mixture to cool down, we're going to weigh out 480 grams of plain white flour. And to that plain white flour, we're going to add a teaspoon of baking powder, a teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda, which is about one of these sachets, a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of castor sugar, a teaspoon of granulated or powdered garlic. This stuff stinks, but it tastes so good. And finally, a teaspoon of thyme. You can add rosemary as well, but unfortunately I do not have any dried rosemary in my cupboard, so we're just sticking to thyme. Now's for the messy bit. You see, I've poured my milk and olive oil mixture back into the jug just to help it cool down a little bit more. And we're going to flour our surface. Just sprinkle some plain flour over a nice clean surface. And we're going to pour our milk and olive oil into our flour mix, and we're going to stir it in gradually. It's going to get very, very sticky very, very quickly. Now, the reason we cool down our milk and olive oil mixture is so that we don't completely burn our hands when we start to get our hands incorporated in all this floury, messy goodness. You can see now it's starting to form this thick, doughy paste. So it's time to pour this mixture out onto the surface and start kneading for a good 10 minutes or more. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of extra flour over the top, and then we're going to get to work. As you saw, to begin with, my mixture was a bit too gooey, so don't be afraid to add more flour to your mix when kneading to make it more of a doughy consistency rather than a liquidy one. Once the dough has fully formed and has begun to stop sticking to the surface and your hands, you want to keep kneading it until you can poke it and it springs up. There you go, look at that, ready to rock. Once you finish kneading your dough, we're going to place it back in the bowl and wrap it with cling film, where we're going to place it at the back of the hob or somewhere else that's relatively warm, and leave it for 10 minutes. While our dough is resting, I thought I'd let you come and say hello to my beautiful dog Elan. This is the one that's always running around out the background when I'm trying to film. Yes, I do realise that his beautiful face has nothing to do with my cooking, but while we're waiting, I thought, why not share him with the world? And say hello. He's really not impressed, is he? Now with this recipe, I have done it before, where you get up to 8 portions of flatbread. It's up to you how big you want them. Whether you want them really big or really small, you just cut however many portions you want off. I mean, with this you could probably eat half that, so that's, there you go, 2 portions. Probably got 2 portions here as well. So yeah, got loads of portions, and then we're going to roll them out and actually make them flat. The flat part, the flatbread. So we're just going to make these little balls quickly to make it easier to roll out. It doesn't take long, you just bash it until it's a bit of a circle, really. You see, some of these are going to be bigger than others. I'm not too fussed. There's only 3 of us eating tonight, so I've overdone it anyway, but oh well. We start with our little dough ball on our floured surface. Rolling pin, and we're going to flatten it out just like that. Flatbread. As I'm rolling each of these flatbreads out, I am placing them in between greaseproof paper to stop them from sticking to each other before I cook them. Don't forget to keep your surface floured to stop the dough from sticking to the surface even more than it probably already has done. Now all our flatbreads are rolled out and ready to go. You're going to get a nice big frying pan on, and make sure you can get it really hot. We're going to put a splash of olive oil in there. And when I say really hot, you pretty much want the pan and the oil smoking before we place our flatbreads in there. So hopefully you can see my pan has just started to smoke a little bit. So my pan and my olive oil are nice and hot. Now I'm just going to gently place my flatbread in there. Give it a bit of a shake so that, make sure it's not stuck. You can see it's going to start bubbling, and when it starts to go a little bit golden around the edges, that's when we'll turn it over and cook the other side. You want it to be nice and golden on each side. The bottom side will go all bubbly, but that's cool, that's what we want. And it's nice and airy, nice and light bread. When it's done, I just pop this on a tray over here, and we're going to do another one. Obviously the bread absorbs all of the olive oil, so when the olive oil's gone, just add a splash more. So there you have our beautifully delicious garlic and herb flatbreads. So like I said, mine I've put on a tray and I've separated them between pieces of greaseproof paper so they don't stick to each other and become one massive clump. I'm going to put them in the oven just before we eat dinner, just to warm them through, because you don't want them to go like overcooked. Obviously they'll go really crisp like a biscuit, and it's just not pleasant to eat. You want them nice and soft like they already are. Look, I tear off a piece. It's good. Subscribe to my channel if you like my videos. Give this video a like. Leave me a comment. I really like reading comments, you know, just type away, even if it's abuse, whatever. And as always, I will see you next week. Thank you for watching.